If you're a fan of the James Bond series, then it is no surprise that Daniel Craig, the current James Bond, has just bowed out of the franchise. And the question on everyone's lips is who replaces him as the legendary Agent 007. There have been many predictions on who would take the role, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has given his opinion, stating he'd like to see Idris Elba take it on. So make sure you watch till the end of the video to know what some fans of the franchise think about Daniel Craig bowing out and the secret reason Idris Elba is the best fit according to fans and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, let's get to know Daniel Craig's history as Bond. Daniel Craig first played Bond in Casino Royale in 2006. His portrayal of the secret agent invented by author Ian Fleming came as a surprise to many faithfuls. In this installment, Bond was fresh from a heartbreak and was dealing with trauma from his past. A couple of years later, Craig returned to the screen for Quantum of Solace. The movie was more bare-boned than Casino Royale, and the actor went about his missions with bare fists and whatever happenstance weapons he could find to fend off enemies. A deviation from the usual panache of special edition toys and weapons Q provided in past movies. In his 007 movies, Craig went through a spectrum of motifs of the Bond character. Let's look at some of them. In Quantum of Solace 2008, Craig was deeply depressed and battling on two fronts, personal demons within and villains without. In Skyfall 2012, Craig looked more like the classic Bond, albeit with a lot of grit. He is seen working through missions with M and Q, as well as the classic Aston Martin DB5 car we saw featured in Goldfinger and Fireball. Oh yeah, and we love Moneypenny, played by Naomi Harris too. In Spectre 2015, we see a flashback of nostalgia showing us the very fragile side of Bond. In No Time to Die 2021, the last one we'll see Craig as Bond, we see a fitting culmination of the Craig version of the Bond that Rotten Tomatoes says is satisfying. All's well that ends well, right? Who should take over as Bond? There's been a lot of debates about who succeeds Craig, and many fans have picked some of their favorites. Amongst these are names like Tom Hardy, Henry Cavill, Reggie Jean Page, and British actor Idris Elba, who have been frequently questioned about their desire to play the part, but Barbara Broccoli, the producer of the James Bond franchise, has recently remarked that fans should not expect any formal announcement regarding the casting of the next Bond anytime soon. As the latest rendition of the iconic movie franchise is set to hit theaters, Idris Elba has made a shocking re-emergence as the favorite, with odds at 7-2. But this is no one-horse race quite yet, as he is closely followed by Reggie Jean Page and Henry Cavill, both at 4-1. Next up, the two other perennial favorites, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Tom Hardy, sit at 6-1 and 7-1 respectively. The Rock seems to be cooking something for the next Bond. In the meantime, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has expressed his perspective on who he believes the next James Bond should be. The American actor, in a recent interview to help advertise his current film, Black Adam, stated that he would love to see Idris Elba take on this legendary part. In the remark, "I do enjoy the notion of my guy Idris Elba playing Bond, though, right? I like that notion a lot, therefore I'm an advocate for it, for him as Bond." Dwayne Johnson stated that the thought of Elba portraying 007 was a lovely one, adding that he is in full support of the casting. The actor made it clear that he didn't perceive himself as a Bond villain and would be pleased to portray the role of James Bond if ever an American actor was selected. He sarcastically pointed out that an American Bond was very much feasible too. Don't go anywhere. You're about to find out why Idris Elba is absolutely perfect as Bond. Here is why Idris Elba is the perfect Bond. Number 26. The markers of the Bond franchise now have the option to try something fresh with the next Bond movie. In an era where there's a rise in diversity, what better way to make the James Bond franchise stand out than utilizing a black actor? Elba has been recognized to perform every part brilliantly, and one of the highlights of the James Bond series is the clothing sense. If you've seen Elba in a movie, you would know he does have a smart and sophisticated style and dress sense. Elba is known for not shying away from the action. Idris Elba's best performing movie roles were in action flicks, one instance being Beast of No Nation 2015, when the actor takes on the character of a militia commander. In Hobbs and Shaw 2019, Elba also takes on the character of a cybergenetically modified terrorist and an ex-MI6 spy. This job was very action-oriented. Being in a lot of action movies means Elba has trained hard to fight effectively, and this is a vital attribute for the action-demanding part of James Bond. It's no wonder that many are excited in seeing Idris as the new James Bond, as he matches his character brilliantly. Another reason why Elba might be a great for this part is the actor's age. Being approaching 50, Idris would be regarded to be the oldest actor to take on this role. But this mature age simply makes the franchise more intrinsically humorous and less self-serious, and this is much appreciated following Daniel Craig's hyper-gritty 007. Previous 007 played into this, since the audience found something humorous about a man taking down henchmen half his age. It also offered opportunities opportunity for self-residential in-jokes. But does his age might potentially be a disadvantage for getting cast as Bond? Despite Elba being among the most popular picks for the character of James Bond, recent difficulties about the future of the role have made his employment look fairly improbable. Detailing their quest for the next 007, the Bond producers disclosed that they are looking to use a 30-something-year-old Bond this time around, sadly cutting out a number of fan favorites, including Alba, who recently turned 50. It's obvious why any actor would think twice before taking on this part. The 10 to 12-year required commitment that comes with taking up this role would make one hesitant to commit to it. Who else do fans want to be the next Bond? Lovers of the franchise still have some time to go before the replacement of Daniel Craig will be disclosed. Though Dwayne Johnson is not alone in his assertion of wanting to see Idris Elba wear the classic tuxedo, speculation by fans will only continue with Elba's name in it, even though the actor has stated his disinterest. As the makers of this franchise continue their hunt for the part of James Bond, fans have also offered their views on Daniel Kaluuya and if he would be a better James Bond than Idris Elba. We saw Daniel Kaluuya on our televisions in the first Black Panther and later on in Queen Sugar. The Oscar winner has been connected to the part of 007. Since following the news of the retirement of Daniel Craig as James Bond in 2019, many observers have noted out that this is a principal position and Daniel Kaluuya was selected. Just like Daniel Craig, Daniel Kaluuya movies are dramatic and would sustain the patterns of Daniel Craig's self-serious relationship. Idris Elba or Daniel Kaluuya? Who do fans prefer and why? But some fans have pointed out that between Idris and Daniel Kaluuya, the elder of the two actors would be a better fit. Fans think they would like for Bond to be a lot more humorous after Daniel Craig's self-serious behavior, so casting Daniel Kaluuya would only be headed in the same path as Craig's Bond. Before Craig, the prior Bond had a more humorous edge, and that altered. Example of such would be Bronson's Bond, which was cheekier than Dalton's fan would want for a change back into the lighter region, as this would be a wonderful peel off the tragic and emotional tone reset. So whoever succeeds Craig would need to be less serious than his predecessor. Something else is demonstrated time and over again he can pull off. The desire for a crampy lineage also makes Daniel Kaluuya less of a possibility and Idris more of an alternative. Both Idris Elba and Daniel Kaluuya have appeared in Marvel Cinematic Universe excursions. However, Kaluuya had a more serious supporting part in the more socially conscious Black Panther, whilst Elba portrayed a campy figure in the significantly more over-the-top milieu of Kenneth Branagh's Thor. Outside of the MCU, meanwhile, Elba has also spent the previous 2 decades since his debut appearance in The Wire, acting in the likes of forthcoming The Suicide Squad, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, Pacific Rim, and Hobbs and Shaw. Even without taking into consideration his involvement in children's pictures like The Jungle Book, Elba has tremendous screen cred when it comes to the more over-the-top, less self-serious side of blockbusters. Kaluuya, though, has shown the contrary since his breakout role in the mid-thousands. Since no decision has been made by the producers of the franchise, and as much as we would all love to witness a Black James Bond, Idris Elba to be precise, wink wink, fans should consider what's best for the producers of this franchise. Who do you think will be the best replacement for Daniel Craig as Bond? Why did they think they should get the nod? Leave us a comment below. Thanks for watching.